Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, it's Andy Hudson with Missouri Ice Hockey Officials Association, and we are live on YouTube. We're live on MIHOA.com/live. So hopefully there's some people out there watching so far, but just wanted to welcome everybody to our third episode of MIHOA Live, which is something that just started a couple weeks ago with Joe Sullivan, who's one of our, I've got the volume on my computer. Hold on. There we go. It started with Joe Sullivan a couple weeks ago, and we had a great conversation with Sully about how he grew up in St. Louis and some of the hockey he's been officiating. And then last week we had Jamie Koharski, who's the son of Don Koharski, a very experienced NHL referee, retired NHL referee. And this week I'm really happy to have Shannon Lewandoski. So Shannon, welcome. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, Andy. Thank you.
All right, great. Well, welcome. Shannon is here today. He's a lifelong hockey enthusiast and player also. I don't know if you were born with skates on, but maybe not. But, but why don't you kind of introduce yourself to everybody that's watching? Give us a little background. We can talk hockey in a minute. Why don't you give us a little rundown of your personal life, your career, your family, what your hobbies, whatever you'd like.
Sure. Shannon Lewandoski, grew up in St. Louis, South Side, kind of near the Bevo Mill area, and recently married Frances. She's a realtor at Keller Williams. I have two boys, Kelly and Reed. They are 8 and 7. Reed will be 8 here in June. Financial planner during the day. Just enjoying life. I really enjoy the game of golf. It's really become a great hobby. Meeting new people, spending time with friends and family, which is definitely missed right now.
Well, great. Yeah. I think a lot of people are missing golf right now. I know you and I have played in a couple golf tournaments together. The last time I think we were on the golf course together was out at the Missouri Bluffs for an event. Can you tell us about that one?
Sure. Yeah, we had so I've done a charity golf tournament for 10 years now, and always been geared towards children's charities. I enjoy playing in golf tournaments, and I was like, hey, I know enough people. I could put something like this on. And so over the years, we've raised money for different charities, all children's based. So we did Youth in Need for a couple of years. We did Make-A-Wish a season. We did Rankin Jordan. And then, I met Steve Albers, who's another hockey guy here in St. Louis, owner of Center Ice Brewery. So started doing work with Steve with the Frozen Cup. And a couple of years ago, found out that my son, Kelly, my 10-year-old, was on spectrum. And so then I went all in with Steve and the Frozen Cup and what he was doing, raising money for autism. And so the last couple of years, the money we've raised for the golf tournament has went to the Frozen Cup. 2 years ago, we lost my best friend, my best hockey buddy. And so we used the tournament to raise money for his family, for their needs for the short term. So it's been it's a really fun event, and it's been really cool to make an impact with your circle, right? Have a great day, have a lot of fun, but also raise money for amazing causes around the area. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, that's great. I love seeing the hockey community come out for a golf tournament or for other charitable events. We can get into more of that later, but what about kind of talk about hockey? What drew you to hockey as a young person? Do you have a family history in hockey, or?
So my dad got me playing hockey. I got on the ice at 3, and then did mini mites at Affton. I think the next year, so I was probably 4 or 5. But he didn't ever played. He had season tickets at the old arena for 25 years. Somebody gave him a ticket, in 1969 or 70 or something, and he went and he was hooked. And him and my uncle had season tickets, right up the center ice line, but up in the nosebleeds. And so fell in love. He fell in love with the game, got me into the game, and obviously I fell in love with it too. So I've been playing playing, coaching, now, being a hockey dad with my little guy play. It's basically been a huge part of my life, and happy for it.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, and you got a great haircut now, by the way. I think you took the Huddy haircut theme here, which is maybe because of COVID-19 or something, or.
It's kind of tough to be a hairdresser right now. So I last year I cut it down low, but this year we went ahead and chopped her all off. And I got to say, I'm enjoying it right now. At least I know if I actually do lose my hair ever, I got a pretty good shape to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew my hair was gone when I was in college. So I just said, just fake. People ask me about hair. I say, yeah, I got hair. I just have it in the wrong places. Well, that's great. So hockey, well, before we move along, we do have some people watching. So make sure for those of you watching to put your name and where you're watching from in the comments so that we know where you're tuning in from. So just type your name in there. And if you have any questions, just type them in there. Again, it's Andy Hudson with Missouri Ice Hockey Officials. And we got Shannon Lewandoski on here, who's been a big hockey guy here in St. Louis for many years. But so you played for Affton. What about high school hockey? Did you play some high school hockey, or?
Yeah, I was went to CBC. I grew up Lutheran and in the city, and so but grew up playing at Affton. I did play with the first AAA team here, the Crusaders back in the day.
Okay.
We have a season with them, which was pretty fun. We just traveled around Canada and got our butts kicked everywhere. Humbling experience, to say the least. But yeah, and then back to Affton, and yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I mentioned it, and I should have mentioned it. You're not at the Centene Community Ice Center right now, even though it looks like you are.
I am not, but Zoom allows this fun things to kind of put the background of wherever maybe you might want to be.
Okay.
And I sure would enjoy being on an ice rink right now.
Yeah, so would I. I think this week was the week that the America's Showcase was supposed to be in St. Louis, the big high school showcase. Yep. And I know a bunch of the officials out there were looking forward to that. I know I was looking forward to it. I was privileged to work the championship game last year with Richie Palo was the other referee. Sure. So I had big shoes to fill there, of course.
Yeah, right.
and or maybe I had to carry him or something. But anyway, that would have been a great event. So you played for CBC, and then, if I'm not mistaken,
that's where I got off track. Sorry. So yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, we can go wherever we want on this. Sure. We're making the rules, my friend. There's no rules. But yeah. What about did you go to play juniors or after high school? What about the Junior Blues?
Yeah, so I played. I was only at CBC my freshman year, and then sophomore year I transferred to Lutheran South. At the time, Lutheran South didn't have a hockey team. I did go in the pool and play for Melville for a season, which was fun. But then my senior year, I practiced with the Junior Blues, and then ended up playing for them the next season and a half. So really, really fun experience. If I can dive right into that if you want. Yeah,
no, of course, go right in. Sure. And especially do you have any funny stories that involved players or interactions with officials maybe, or?
Yeah, so I don't know, is there kids watching, because it was a little chaotic back then. No, so a couple things I'll go into with that. One, being a kid growing up at Affton and being a rink rat. I remember being a stick boy for the junior tournament when it would come into town. And I was, 10, 11, 12 years old, and they would assign a couple of us, like you could register, any of the kids playing there could register to be a stick boy for that tournament. And boy, what an experience, being a young kid, but getting to go into those junior locker rooms, and these guys are men, right? And getting to experience that, and helping them with anything they needed, getting water bottles, carrying sticks around, but really becoming intertwined with that team over the 4 or 5 days that you were helping. And then what would happen is that when it's over, whether your team won or not, or then they'd end up pulling you out, and they'd give you all kinds of stuff. They give you a jersey, they give you cash, and it was just such a neat experience, and I just couldn't wait to be older to play. So, here you are, at this time, coming and getting a chance to play junior hockey growing up, I mean, it was everything. That was the first time you could actually fight, and you got a 5-minute penalty. How cool, right? Like, what an experience. And traveling on a regular basis, and just, it was just at that time in my life. And some of the people I met there are still my best friends today. We had a very, very tight knit group, a lot of fun. I could not talk about the Junior Blues without talking about Mr. Jost and the Jost family. What they were able to do and provide for us and support us was unbelievable, and just amazing people. Mikey, so I played with Matt my first year, and Mike was on that team. And then the next year, I played with Mike again. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. A really, really good time. I remember, we talked about Adam Tumbrink earlier. Adam and I became best friends, but one of the stories I like to tell, we fought in tryouts.
Okay.
Again, there's 60 kids that come out, and you got to get noticed, and I wasn't scoring goals. So, but I remember I got in a fight with Kelly Carberry, the oldest, and 2 shifts in a row. We fought, and then the next shift, and there I am whooped, but the next shift, Adam comes off on the ice and challenges me. So that was 3 fights in a row, my first training camp for juniors. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? But it was fun. Yeah. And Adam and I ended up making the team, and I remember after that tryout, going in and talking to him in Bark's place, and then, we became best friends after that. I was best man at his wedding. His, son Brad is my godson. And, again, just been a huge part of my life. And a lot of that just all came from junior B hockey.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. You just said junior B. There is no such thing as B hockey anymore. I mean, I never played juniors, but I played B hockey, and it was pretty darn good hockey. But now if you have the word B attached to hockey, it's kind of strange. I've always thought that's,
you got to keep adding A's, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is something that you don't know that I'm going to do, but we did this the past 2 guests. I'm going to call it a little rapid fire here. Okay. It's kind of like you would see on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon or something like that. So we're going to do a hockey round first, and then we'll do another one later. Okay.
All right.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Your favorite local St. Louis rink from the past?
Wow. I mean, I'd still probably have to put Affton. I put more time in my life in that rink than anywhere else. So I still would say Affton, and definitely because of the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say that. Good. Teed you up good there. What's your favorite current rink, or maybe newer rink?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be right behind me. The Centene Center is unbelievable. I mean, wow. Chesterfield did an amazing job on their rink. They really did a great job. Tommy Kyman and his group out there, what they were able to put together, unbelievable. But the Centene Center and everything that Pat Quinn and his group, Chris Zimmerman, and it really just, they did an unbelievable job in creating what is the Taj Mahal of hockey in the Midwest right now. That place is unreal.
They sure did. All right, let's keep going rapid fire here. Were you a forward or a D?
I was a forward.
Okay. Your skates, Bauer or CCM or other?
Bauer.
Okay,
Bauer.
Good. Your favorite Blues legend?
I have 2, Brian Sutter and Keith Tkachuk.
Okay, there you go. How about your favorite current Blues player?
Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay, good. Best in-game beverage, Gatorade or water?
Center ice beer. Oh, you mean like during our games? Got it. Water.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and then the last question this round is best place for a post-game beverage. Now you can do it. Okay, good.
Obi Clark's is a 1B.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. All right. So that was our rapid fire. So I'm sure Steve will appreciate that you plugged his his brewery, which is a great brewery, by the way. It's fantastic down there. I've enjoyed it.
Well, you know what? While we're on here, I will throw a shameless plug out here for him. You know, I mean, Steve is a local hockey guy who has absolutely grinded it out and built an amazing place, and was a huge part of the Stanley Cup last year, right? Like in all those things that came above it. And if we, right now he's doing gift certificates. So if you spend $100, he gives you a $150 gift certificate. He's doing curbside pickup. So anything to keep his brewery up and running for when we get out of this. So any way the hockey community can support him, you know, those are little ways that we can do it. I think he's pre-selling some events. So if you wanted to host something there a few months down the road, he's offering deals to people to post those. So, you know, hit Steve up if you're looking to, you know, for Center Ice beer or any events in the future.
Yeah. And that goes for everybody, not just Steve, but everybody in the community that's struggling with this. And I saw a video just yesterday, like restoration, what are they called? St. Louis Restoration or something that sent something around. And yeah, we all need to be rallying around. And that kind of leads us into, we're going to go off topic, but that's a great way to segue into hockey players in business, because tell us a little bit about hockey players in business, how it got started, and kind of what the purpose of the group is.
Sure. So it's been over 10 years now. So 10 years ago, my first son was being born. I remember being in the hospital and, you know, kind of like, okay, now new chapter of life is starting. And, you know, I had always wanted, you know, in playing men's league at Brentwood, you know, you meet different people. And I remember playing on a team and there were some older guys on the team, but just great people. And, you know, you walk out of the room and guys are getting into their, you know, they're getting into their 7 Series or their Porsche Cayennes. And I'm like, man, I wonder what they do for a living. Because, you know, what we do professionally and that really, it's just not locker room talk, right? So a lot of the guys you might play men's league with, or even you guys might ref with, you don't know what they do during the day professionally, but why not, right? Why not create an opportunity where we know what each other do so that we can support each other, right? And that really was what it came down to. Paulie Pence was one of the guys played on our team. Paulie was a dentist. Well, guess what? You know, I mean, kind of cliche that the dentist is the first one I bring up for a hockey guy, right?
Right.
That was kind of the first thing. John Hodgins was part of that team. Loved Johnny, and Hodgie's been a very important man in my life. And I met him playing men's league at Brentwood, but, you know, a true friend. He's been a mentor professionally. And so those were the kind of guys that I was meeting. And I said, man, I wonder if I now look them up on LinkedIn. And I always joke, like, you know, first you got to figure out what people's actual names are from the locker room, right?
Yeah.
Once you figure out what their actual name is, then you can look up on LinkedIn and see what they do. And all of a sudden you're finding out that, oh, I had no idea that they did that. And so wanted to create an environment in which guys knew who each other were, but also knew that they were hockey guys. So I started a group on LinkedIn, and I initially called it Hockey Players Doing Business Together. And I wanted to be very forward with what it was. You know, it wasn't hockey players talking about business. It was truly hockey players doing business together. So how can we, and so we started hosting little events and, you know, trying to network together. I remember hosting an event right when Tom Stillman bought the team, when he bought the Blues. We had an event at Chris's Pancake House. Another plug we'll put out there.
Yeah.
Support Chris's in the
man.
bar.
You got beer and you got pancakes. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Oh, bacon, egg, and cheese. You must be hungry.
I'm telling you, I'm on a light diet. When the lights are on, I'm hungry. Right?
Okay.
But no, these are all just guys in the hockey family, right? We talked about doing events, but why not do them and support them with other hockey families? So I reached out to Chris Saraceno, and we had an event at Chris's Pancake House, about 50 guys there. And Tom Stillman kind of talked to us a little bit about, you know, who he was and his background in hockey, and, you know, how he still plays. And, you know, he just wasn't as well known as he is today inside that hockey circle. And so, man, it was just really cool to hear his story and, you know, hear his passion for the game. I mean, what an owner he has been. Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
taking out their run. But that was how things started, and it just started snowballing. And I remember we got to like 10,000 members, and I was like, holy cow, this is neat.
Mhm.
Well, then I noticed that USA Hockey had a group on LinkedIn. I was like, okay, well, their membership was like 14,500. So then I was gunning for them. I'm like, we're going to get that. But boy, would we blow that out. So I think today there's about 45,000 members
Wow.
on the LinkedIn group. I guess it's been now almost a year and a half. A group out of Cleveland reached out to me, and they actually had a similar idea and model, but they had a couple little changes to it. And so he's like, hey, Shannon, can we grab a call? And yeah, absolutely. And I had failed a few times in trying to build or launch a website. If you don't know how to write code, you can spend a lot of money. Things that don't look the way you think they should look, or operate the way that you should operate. I could draw you on a picture what I want a page to look like and how I want it to operate, but I can't design it or build it. So wasted a lot of money in that area. But these guys had started, they started a group called Hockey Players in Business. And it was all of our kind of vision aligned, except for they had one extra part, and that was they were a 501c3. And so their thing was, join our group for $50 a year, but we're going to collectively use those dollars to give back to the game of hockey. Oh, that really intrigued me. I never thought about that. I really thought of it originally as just a way for us to network. And then as it grew, I was like, oh, well, yeah, I could probably, maybe I can make some money at this and create a business. But then I was like, well, and I don't know how, I'm sure people understand when you try to do a couple different things, you end up not doing any of them very well. And I knew that unless you have someone that can actually write code and build this thing and have the vision that you do, I decided I wanted to partner with a group of people that had a similar mindset, but they had a lot of resources. So Rob McKinley had started that group, and Rob's a Canadian who settled in Cleveland. And there's quite a few of those guys like that that settled in that area. But man, they are just great people, and we have really grown this thing now with having some structure and some of their capabilities. So now I think we have 13 chapters running meetings around the country, around North America.
Yeah, and I got it up on the screen right now. Can you see what I'm sharing? The
Sure,
different
yep.
chapters. Yeah, that's great. How many members do you think are in the St. Louis chapter?
So I wouldn't know today. I would say there's probably 50 to 60 locally that are paid annual members. Yeah, so again, that's our job. What we're doing now is just growing this as organically as possible. We don't have a huge marketing budget. We don't, it's just really by word of mouth and through our events creating this. But there's been we've made a really good impact. I mean, we've donated, I'd have to get you those stats, but I have them, and I can share them with you afterwards. But we've given away a lot of money to the game of hockey and to different organizations and parts of the game. Our goal is to get to 5,000 paid members by next year. And so if we have that, that's $250,000 in revenue that we can impact the game with in different ways. So, we hope to do some things like, you see the craft fill where, obviously that's a much bigger deal, but using something in a smaller scale, right? Like, so let's have all the learn to play programs in the country compete for $25,000 bonus or, equipment purchase for their program, and do 2 or 3 or 4 of those. Those are kind of the things that we're looking at as far as how we can use these dollars to make impacts in the game.
And I know when I started getting involved with the group, I went on there and I'm like, it doesn't even say officials on here. It's all players and coaches. But I'm glad you guys included officials there, because I will have to tell you that, and I've been in St. Louis for over 20 years. And, much like hockey players, officials are a tight knit group, and, with players and coaches too. And I mean, my dentist is Terry McKenna, know him through hockey. My insurance agent is Mike Aubuchon, if you remember Aubuchon family.
Yep.
My guy who helped paint the house is a guy I referee hockey with. If I need legal advice, I've got an attorney that referees hockey. And so it's, it's a big network. We all know each other. And you're in the financial world, so I'm sure that's helpful with networking and all of that. But one thing I want to mention is that while you're talking about hockey players in business, as you know, we're hosting that Tim Peel referee camp this summer. We actually, and you already know this, Shannon, but I'm just telling people who are watching, we're actually going to host, the plan is to host a Friday evening networking event at the camp. Hockey Players in Business will host the event, and people can come out and meet others from the hockey community. Tim Peel will come and talk. Some of our other instructors may be able to come and talk, and it'll be at Maryville Rink. And so the attendees can maybe watch what we're doing on the ice or in the classroom, definitely on the ice, and see kind of what officiating is all about. And maybe some of these people that have been into hockey for a while or hockey players in business might want to pull the stripes on one of these days. Who knows?
No, I'm really looking forward to that event. I know we had to push it back a few months with the current environment, but yeah, getting to know Peelsy and his passion for growing the referee community, right? And I love the fact that you're living what we talk about with the hockey players in business, right? It's hey, if I need someone, well, does a hockey guy do it? Right? Or a hockey woman, which we also have some amazing hockey women.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, that's what's you might know better stats on this, but is girls hockey the fastest growing sport for girls in the country?
I think you're right. Yeah.
It's huge. So absolutely. I mean, this is about supporting the people that love our game. Right. And that's officials, that's coaches, that's parents, that's players.
Yeah, great. Well, before we go on to maybe one more topic, I'm going to do one more quick fire round.
All right.
Since we're talking about officials. Okay. This is Hockey Rules 101.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And this is a referee asking a coach, a former player, Hockey Rules 101. So, all right. True or false? First one's easy. True or false? The puck shall be made of vulcanized rubber and shall be 1 inch thick and 3 inches in diameter and shall weigh between 5.5 and 6 ounces and be black in color. True or false?
True.
Okay, good. That was a layup. All right. You're playing with the Blues alumni. All right. And Cam Jansen, who skates with you, I think, shoots a puck. It breaks in half. One half goes into the goal and the other half does not. Is it a goal or not?
It's a goal.
You're wrong. Okay. Yeah. The entire
I dare you to tell Cam it's not.
I know. Right. The entire puck has to cross the goal line. Okay. So if it breaks in half, the entire puck didn't cross the goal line, right?
So if it breaks in half, is the play dead?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But if half of the puck goes in and the other half doesn't, then
Well, I didn't know if like a half went in, if I could go get the other half and then shoot it in.
And yeah, you get half a goal then, and then the other. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How many face-off locations can officials drop the puck at?
Well, I mean, 9 is the official number, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's only one answer. It's 9. Yeah. So
I was thinking sometimes there's face-offs in odd places. So
well, not anymore. So a couple years ago, up until a couple years ago, or before a couple years ago, you could take face-offs along an imaginary line of the face-off dots.
Right.
But now it's only at the 9 face-off dots. You're doing well here.
All right.
Okay. If a player for Ladue High School receives a 5-minute major and a 2-minute minor in the same shift, which one is served first, the major or the minor?
Major.
Okay, good. Very good. Very good. All right. If a player throws his stick outside of the rink, like over the glass, should this result in a penalty? And if so, what is the penalty?
So he threw his stick?
Yeah, let's say he broke his stick. He throws it over the glass.
The 2-minute unsportsmanlike.
No, you're wrong there. Sorry, buddy. there's actually two options. It's a 10-minute misconduct.
Oh, okay.
Right? But if he throws it in vicinity of spectators, it's a game misconduct. He's gone.
Okay. All right.
For the safety factor. So
yeah, that makes sense.
If your kids ever break their sticks, just tell them to drop it, or they can drop it in the bench, but they can't throw it over the glass. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is a tough one, but if you can get this, I will buy you a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
Oh.
What are the 4 infractions that require a minimum of a minor plus misconduct penalty?
Charging, checking from behind, checking behind, high stick. Okay. Is fighting still a major? It's not like they don't.
Yeah, but that has to be a major, like a 2-minute mind. So do you want the other 2, or do you want?
Please. Yep. I got 2 out of 5. I'll take half a.
So boarding.
Oh, yep.
And head contact.
Got it.
Okay, so you get half of the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
I like it.
And then finally, last question: who's your favorite local St. Louis hockey referee?
Well, I actually know that one. It's Jeff Lavecchio's dad.
Oh yeah, there you go, the king.
Dude, he was my favorite by far because boy, he just let us go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love Jeff, and Phil was a great guy.
Yeah.
His nickname was the King, by the way. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
In the hockey community, he was called the King.
Okay.
And I think he'd actually introduce himself as that. I'm the King.
I mean, really, he was my favorite ref to have back in juniors. And it is now getting to know Jeff and all he's doing for our hockey community has been really awesome.
Yeah.
Trainer. So.
And he's actually going to be do some fitness testing for us at the Tim Peel camp, which is going to be exciting. So,
very cool.
And I'll just plug that real quick. The Tim Peel camp, and I've got the banner here because we were ready to go before this whole COVID thing went down. But July 31st through August 2nd out at Maryville University, and we are taking registrations right now. So we're still planning on having it. Obviously, if things get really wacky, we might have to postpone it again, but we haven't made that decision yet. So if any of you are out there watching and you want to come join us, it's a great camp. Tim Peel's part of it. He's a fantastic guy, as you know, Shannon. We got some other great instructors, and we have a really good time. And the most exciting part about it is the young officials get so enthused and like egg each other on. And it's like, they compete with each other, push each other, and that's what makes them get better. So last question, because it's already 5 o'clock, so it's probably time for happy hour. But last question. So when it comes to your coach for Ladue, right? Mm-hmm. What do you appreciate? Like officials and coaches don't always see eye to eye. So kind of what do you appreciate from a coach's perspective when it comes to the officials that are working your games at the high school level?
Sure. I've come a long way, and I know one of the things we talked about earlier is, how was your relationship as a player with refs as opposed to as a coach? It's funny, as you get older, you learn things, right? One of the things I learned early, and I think it's important for our players to learn early, one, no ref has ever changed his mind based on how your body language is or what you say to them, right? Whether that's a coach or a player. I think what I really have come to enjoy as being a coach for high school is, one, I enjoy the camaraderie of, you guys come and introduce yourselves before the game, and we start off on a good foot, right? And then also I think our ability to kind of, hey, can you come over? Can we talk through this? In a calm manner. I think, learning to respect that side of the game. I mean, and we have to have, and you and I have had long conversations. We don't have a hockey game without referees, period, end of story. So we have to, as a community and as players, as parents, as coaches, understand that one, referees are not on that side. They're not here to ruin your day, right? I'm here just try to keep a game safe and to follow the rules. So I think it's the relationship we've been able to create from on the ice and behind the bench to have open communication has really come a long way.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate that. And, from an official's standpoint, we have such an easier time if the coaches can take a deep breath and can recognize that we're all human, we make mistakes. And if we can have a respectful conversation eye to eye that involves respect both ways, it just goes so much better in the game, and the players feed off of that. Right.
Agreed.
So I appreciate that. So one last question, and then I'll let you go. But do you think you'll ever pull the stripes on, or have you ever wanted to pull the stripes on?
So actually, I remember, I think it might have been before juniors, I failed the test. So I was probably in high school, and, my dad's like, hey, you're an idiot if you're not, why would you not take this as a job? You can make good money. You're still on the ice. You're improving your skating, and you're part of the game, and probably have a different angle for it. So, but I failed the test. That shocker at that point in my life. But
you got about a C- in today's
right
rule
exactly.
101. So you passed, but just barely.
No, I absolutely enjoy the game, and I love coaching. It's really, and I've learned a lot as a coach. It's different to be a player, but to be able to coach that, and learn where you can make an impact. I mean, I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm more about, talking to people about giving it their best and being their best, and being a good teammate and being a good leader and making an impact, and those things. That's really where I feel I bring strength, is helping people get the best out of themselves and pushing them to get that. And that's been a blast. I will say, now being a coach for 8U, holy cow, what a difference. Going from high school to coaching 8U has been a huge change and eye-opening, but I'm loving it. I'm having a blast, and it's just a different side of it. So I would say right now, between coaching two teams, my plate is pretty full.
Okay. Well, we'd love to have you, and we'd love to have anybody that's interested in officiating give it a try. I mean, a lot of guys, even if they're in their 20s or 30s, they give it a try, and all of a sudden they're hooked, because you're right in the game. There is a competitive nature to it, because guys want to get those good assignments. They want to have that big high school game on Friday night, CBC, SLU, or whoever it is. So I would encourage everybody to enjoy it. So, well, Shannon, thank you very much. I do want to tell everybody that's watching that we're going to keep doing this weekly.
Very cool.
So next week, we've got one of our young officials who actually played for CBC as well, Addison Brush. I don't know if you know Addison, but he's going to join us next week at the same time, 4:30 on Thursday, Central Time. And Addison currently is a linesman in the ECHL, and he helps out with the Tim Peel referee camp. He's also a video filmmaker here in St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
And he actually worked for the NHL during the Stanley Cup playoff and did some of the filming of the Stanley Cup finals, which was fantastic. So Addison is going to join us next week. But thanks a lot, everybody. Shannon, thank you so much for joining me. This is just something fun I'm trying. I'm not making any money from it. I know you aren't, besides the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
That's right.
Be safe.
Thanks,
and all right, Shannon. Take care, and we'll see you later.
All right,
Thanks,
sounds
everybody.
good. See you at the rink, hopefully soon.
Yeah, for sure. Bye-bye.